All right, Matty, welcome back to the Ask Matty Show. Matty, how are you feeling today?
I'm doing excellent, Gav. Had a nice weekend. Looking forward to the top of this week and talking about some crypto today.
A lot of good questions today, Matty. A lot of good comments, some hate comments being thrown at you, Matty, that you must defend yourself. We will not stand for these haters. But before we get into that, team, become a Crypto Charge member. That is where our community is at. Click the link in the pinned comment below. Join our community. We've got a lot coming towards the end of this year and next year. So you want to be tapped in with that. Shop.cryptocharge.com. Get some swag. But team, finally, please subscribe to this channel. It greatly helps us grow. But in today's show, your questions, your comments, your hot takes, we're about to get into it. Matty, are you ready?
Let's do it, baby.
Juju Peterson 12 says, you have been talking a lot about Zcash lately. Is it the best coin to be buying right now?
Is it the best coin to be buying right now? So everything is price oriented for me, right? So today we're recording this on September 11. So from a price standpoint, I think that it's probably on par with Casper. I think that reward wise, one for one, we're looking pretty similarly there with current market prices, and we're definitely on a decline today. And I expect significantly more decline over these coming weeks. I've been covering this extensively with our updates, showing a lot of the distribution that we're seeing there. And I think people are a little too bullish, a little too early. But without getting too deep into the weeds here, Zcash, out of the legacy plays out there, if we're going to kind of put XRP aside and kind of put it in its own category, I think it is probably one of the best legacy assets out there from older cycles, right? From 2017, 2018 cycle. I think it's probably the best technical upside and has a very unique use case. And there's not a lot of competition within that use case category, right? There's not a ton of privacy coins out there competing for that space where there's a variety of L1s and L2s and everybody else competing for other verticals that are very crowded. I don't think that the privacy sector is very crowded. And I think Zcash is probably one of the best picks in there. Do I think Monero's a bad pick? No, I don't. I've just decided to do my research on Zcash and stick with the technicals on Zcash. We're at multi-year lows. If we drop into that $15 to $18 band, I'm going to be taking some of my dry powder I've been setting aside, and I'll be allocating additionally at those prices, but I won't be buying aggressively outside of DCA unless that band is provided to me.
Quim says, learning from the previous bull run, 90% of altcoins don't recover. BTC is reliable here, Matty. Okay, so obviously, like you've tackled this topic a lot with the altcoins, but this thing about BTC being reliable, has none of the altcoins that you've picked been reliable? And I'm kind of jumping ahead here because there's a hate comment I'm staring at over here right now. But Matty, what's your thoughts on this? Is BTC the reliable coin, and are your coins reliable?
So, you're saying 90% of altcoins don't recover after the previous bull run. So let's think about the last bull run that actually most altcoins were involved in, if we're going to put XRP in a separate category, right? That's the 2017, 2018 cycle. So I don't know what you mean by this variety of coins didn't make it, because there really wasn't that many to begin with from 2017, 2018 cycle. We, of course, had a period of extreme growth from 2018 through 2021, 2022, right? And you get more projects that come online. And of course, so a lot of those do well. You're not going to have the same coins being the same winners every single time. Just like in the stock market, yeah, you're going to have a lot of your blue chips that do well, but that there are blue chips that are going to outperform blue chips that were maybe the best performers last cycle. It's not a guarantee that this will be the best performer every single cycle, right? Which is why even when I talk about XRP, I go, hey, XRP is great. I love it. I've studied it for a long time. I hold a big old bag of it, but I'm not going to ignore new opportunities because there will be new winners each and every cycle. So I'm going to guess that you're talking about the cycle that we're still in right now that hasn't completed, right? We're talking about the bull cycle that just completed. We're still in the bear cycle. So this is technically still part of that cycle, right? So we haven't even gotten to this next bull run yet. So I think that's a pretty big assumption to say, 90% of them don't recover. Do I think that there is a lot of garbage in this market? Yes, I do. There is a lot of garbage that needs to be flushed out. When we have regulation come in, a lot of those coins won't even, hold a candle to those standards that we see there, right? They're not going to have the same ability to defend themselves like Ripple did when they were defending XRP as a decentralized asset, right? And a non-security. There are a lot of assets that are just straight up unregistered securities, and I believe that, and they are tainting this space. They're making it difficult for people to say altcoins are a legitimate good investment because people are pumping so much garbage, right? And I do blame what's happening on the Ethereum ecosystem for that, right? Because that's where the majority of these garbage tokens are. If we were to wipe out probably 80% of the tokens on the Ethereum network that don't provide any really good proprietary value, you would have a very solid ecosystem. People wouldn't be so afraid of, getting into DeFi and Ethereum-based products. But we're getting a little bit off topic here. My personal picks are picks that I have picked because, I've done a lot of fundamental research on them, right? I think that they are highly competitive within the vertical that they belong to, and I think that they have phenomenal technical upside. Some of my picks haven't even had the opportunity to flourish, like Casper, right? It was basically born and built into a bear market, right? We were already past the majority of that bull market. So, we can't even say, oh, well, it's not going to do well because price isn't where I want it to be. Bitcoin hasn't even broken 40K yet, right? And with good reason. I think that we're still within the cumulative phase. And we can take a look at that later. But, I think it's a pretty bold assumption to say 90% don't recover. I think a majority of them do, send them staying flat if they're garbage coins. But, shit flies even if monkeys throw it hard enough, right?
All right, Matty, time for the hate. Thomas Hardy 0 says, you have the shittiest choices for altcoins yet. I always see you on my For You page.
Man, because the algo apparently just needs to let you know that you need some real information. First of all, I love the no profile avatar there. Those are the people who always like to talk shit, people who want to, hide their identities. And that's cool. That's fine. And I understand that. I get on the internet. I give you guys free advice, right? You guys are paying me absolutely nothing to being here on YouTube, nothing to be here on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, right? I'm dropping tons of knowledge bombs for you guys, absolutely free of charge. Of course, I have my program where I give you guys way more value and in-depth analysis. So if you're going to go off of, my little snippets, you're going to go, well, I didn't like what you said to say in that 15 seconds, but you're not doing your own research beyond that. Yeah, you might be a little frustrated or feel like, I'm just picking this coin because it could be a 50x or a 100x, but that's not the case. So I'd like to know specifically what about my altcoin picks you don't like, because they're actually very thin. I don't have any micro caps in my picks at all. So they're none of these like, hey, this is this tiny new startup and I think you guys need to get on this, right? Like I would say most of them fall into the small and medium cap, and some of them even in the large cap, right? Like XRP is not like a small pick. I would like to know specifically what you have beef with. I try to be very selective. I'm not that guy who jumps on every single new project out there. And once I kind of have my picks, I kind of just hunker down on them. I have a few trade ideas I'm looking for that are not going to be long-term holds for me, like Cardano, Matic, Phantom. But again, those are not picks for me. Those are trades. But yeah, I pick really good quality assets, and I put my money where my mouth is. My team gets to see my portfolio as we go on, and I can guarantee by the end of this next cycle that you'll be eating your own words here. I'm going to make a lot of money.
AJR5487 says, when is the bull run even coming?
Well, kind of two different questions there. Is it even coming, or when is it coming? But I'm assuming you mean when is it coming. So the hypothesis that everybody kind of likes to rest on is the halving cycle, right? So every 4 years, the Bitcoin reward is cut in half, right? So meaning that miners are competing for less and less reward each time, which in turn creates some sort of supply shock. I think that really Satoshi looked at the economic growth cycles that we have here in the stock market, right? And even commodities and metals and all these things, but specifically the stock market. Let's stick to risk on assets. And we look and we generally see these short periods of economic growth. So that's generally somewhere between 12 and 18 months. Sometimes they can be a little bit longer, right? And then we have these periods of economic contraction. And those can be obviously some deeper than others and some are less deep. But generally, when you have very big periods of economic expansion, that's followed by severe contraction, which is most likely what we're going to see right now, right? Because in 2020 and 2021, printed a lot of stimulus. Everyone got paid a lot of money to stay home and not go to work, right? People were spending more than they ever have because they were just sitting home and eating. They were ordering packages from Amazon, right? There was a lot of money being spent that wouldn't have traditionally been spent. So, right, the money supply expanded dramatically. So now when we most likely do get this recessionary announcement, we will see the markets dip, but that'll generally be the market bottom, right? That's, hey, it can't get any worse than this because this is the government saying, hey, even though we've probably already been in a recession for many months now, we're officially in a recession, right? So that's generally kind of when you see that bottoming behavior. So we could say probably at the top of next year that we should expect some sort of economic growth. And that's also paired with a lot of other fundamental, inklings that we can look to, like the election year, right? At the end of next year, we'll be electing a new president. We'll be electing a whole, regime of people here in the United States. And generally, you like to see gas prices a little lower. You want to see the stock market a little bit more elevated, right? So maybe the Federal Reserve is incentivized by sometime next year, right, to start cutting rates and making money more available, making people more apt to go buy houses. Real estate market gets a little bit more exciting again, right? Going and getting out car loans again because rates are actually acceptable again. So, there's a variety of things we can look at to say, hey, this is most likely points to the next 2 years, right? 2024, 2025 being kind of those years of economic growth for us. Now, again, there's not a perfect science to this. You can look at a lot of examples showing that some bear markets have lasted longer than this. And the crypto market's still very young, right? We're looking at Bitcoin being, just a little over a decade old, right? It's not this super old asset. So we're going off of very limited data here. So I'm still accumulating though, as if I only have, let's say 6 to 8 or 9 months here to really make sure that everything's packed away before things gets exciting again. But that's kind of just my timing expectations. But again, you can't time the markets, which is why you kind of have to stick with your plan, DCA. Once you see the markets moving, switch to limit-based ordering, and then take profits right at your predetermined targets. So
I love that, Matty. And this time has really actually been a blessing, especially because this is like my first bear market, actually. This is my first bear market I've had to go through, and a lot for our members here. And having this community that we can lean on with each other of smart individuals, that people that want to learn, has been very helpful, Matty. Any words of wisdom for the team here? Because I was just talking to someone this weekend, and I could not imagine, they are totally on the outskirts of crypto and don't, they want to know, but they don't want to, step in. I'm like, dude, you got to join a community like we have and get involved with people around you that are willing to learn and want to make serious money. So any words of wisdom here, Matty?
Yeah, I mean, definitely don't be afraid to ask questions and even ask yourself questions, right? You get a handful of assets that are recommended to you, even assets that I recommend on, YouTube here and TikTok and everything. Don't take anything at face value, no matter how much you trust somebody, right? Trust but verify. That's literally the epitome of blockchain and DLT technology, right? That was a little bit of a double there, right? DLT is distributed ledger technology, but it's the essence of it, right? So when you guys hear about new projects, you hear about new things coming out, it's important that you dig a little bit deeper, right? What is this foundation who's driving this project actually made of, right? Who's driving this project? What does that roadmap look like? What sets this apart from other assets other than just being another L1 that everyone says is going to be great? Be careful with airdrops, right? Whether they're NFT airdrops or people tell you connect your wallet here to get an airdrop, right? There's just so many scams that start to pick up more heavily during this bull market. So I just want you guys to be extremely cautious, okay? It's so easy to get, caught up in the excitement of it. And, I can earn an extra 12% if I do this. I can earn this airdrop if I just connect my wallet. It's not worth it, not most of the time, guys, okay? So, be skeptical, be cautious, be picky, be careful, and be consistent with your investing.
A lot of wisdom there, Matty. A lot of wise words, but a lot of wisdom. All right, team, that's all we have for today. Thank you for joining us. If you can, please, before we leave you here, just like this video. That greatly helps us. We can get a lot of good comments here, and we're going to keep it rolling for you guys. But until next time, see ya.